Everyone remembers Syndrome as the whiny fanboy who couldn't take rejection. Everyone's wrong. Here's what actually happened. A kid offered his hero everything.
You don't have to worry about training me. I know all your moves, your crime-fighting style, favorite catchphrases, everything!
And got handed to the police.
Take this one home and make sure his mom knows what he's been doing.
I can help you! You're making a mistake!
A government that agreed with the villain before he ever became one. A hero who trash talks ordinary people at his own dinner table. And a death so ironic the movie warns you about it an hour early.
I will get your son eventually! I'll get your son!
As a joke. By the end of this, you're gonna owe Syndrome an apology. Let's start with the kid. Real quick, this channel does one thing. One villain, one movie, the full story nobody tells. If that's your kind of rabbit hole, subscribe now. Okay, the kid. Listen to this. So there's this kid, Buddy Pine, and I need you to actually picture the world he's living in. Superheroes are everywhere. They're celebrities, they're on lunchboxes, and every single one of them won a lottery. They were born with it. Flight, strength, speed. You either have it, or you're nobody. Buddy wasn't born with anything. So here's what this kid does. No powers, no mentor, no lab. He sits in his room, alone, and he builds rocket boots. That work. He's a child, and he engineered flight. Stop and think about your childhood for a second. Best thing most of us built was a paper airplane that flew crooked. This kid looked at the one thing separating him from the gods on his lunchbox and closed the gap with his own 2 hands.
Finally figured out who I am. I am your ward. Incrediboy!
And now you have officially carried it too far, buddy.
Now here's what the movie does with him. It makes him the joke. The music turns goofy when he shows up. Mr. Incredible rolls his eyes. Incrediboy. Even the name he picks for himself is played for laughs.
You're that kid from the fan club. Buddy!
My name is Incrediboy.
The film literally trains you to find this kid annoying. And look, he is annoying. He's a fanboy with no boundaries, blowing up your hero's phone, showing up uninvited. We've all met that kid. Some of us were that kid. But strip the goofy music away and just look at what's on screen. The most gifted mind in the entire movie is a child that everyone treats like a pest.
No, you don't have to worry about training me. I know all your moves, your crime-fighting style, favorite catchphrases, everything! I am your #1 fan!
Nobody says, "Who taught you this?" Nobody says, "Kid, you might be more super than the supers." Not his hero, not one adult. You know that feeling? Doing something incredible and having the room look right past you? That's Buddy's entire childhood. That's the starting point. And then came the night he offered everything he had to the one person he worshipped and got 15 seconds that turned a fanboy into a body count. Okay, the night everything broke. There's a robbery downtown. A villain called Bomb Voyage. Mr. Incredible shows up, and so does Buddy. In a homemade costume, rocket boots and everything. And he says the line, "I'm Incrediboy."
Incroyable!
And Incrediboy!
Incredible?
He's not there to cause trouble. He's there to help his hero. He's offering everything a kid has to offer. His inventions, his loyalty, his whole heart, basically. And Bob looks at this kid and says, "Fly home, buddy. I work alone."
I can fly. Can you fly?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Oui, cette nuit est complètement ridicule!
Now let me be fair here, because this matters. Buddy did mess everything up that night. He flew into an active crime scene. Bomb Voyage clipped a live bomb onto Buddy's cape. His cape. Remember that. I'm dead serious. Remember the cape. Bob had to abandon the villain to save the kid. The bomb dropped. It blew out an elevated train track. Bob stopped a moving train with his own body. People got hurt. So no, Bob wasn't wrong to send a child home. Any adult would've. That's not the wound. The wound is how. Buddy ends the night in a police car, handed over like a criminal.
The injured jumper. You sent paramedics?
They've already picked him up.
The blast in that building was caused by Bomb Voyage.
His hero didn't say, "Kid, you built rocket boots. Come find me in 10 years. His hero didn't say anything. He shipped him off and forgot he existed.
Skippy here made sure of that.
Incrediboy!
You're not affiliated with me! Horse.
Think about your own version of this. Everybody's got one. The teacher who embarrassed you, the coach who cut you, the person you looked up to who made you feel like nothing. Now imagine that person is literally your god, on your lunchbox, on your wall, and he couldn't spare you one sentence. Buddy went home that night with two things, a cape that almost killed him, and a new belief burning a hole in his chest. If the supers won't have me, I'll bury them. Was that fair to Bob? No. Bob saved his life that night. But heartbreak doesn't do math, especially not a kid's heartbreak. And here's the twisted part. While Buddy sat with that wound, the entire world came around to his side. So what happens to Mr. Incredible after that night? He gets sued. And listen to who sues him. The first lawsuit comes from a man Bob saved. A guy who jumped off a building. Bob caught him. The guy sued him for ruining his suicide.
Whoa, hey! Let go! You're wrecking my flight matter! I can do this!
I need that to sink in. The hero saved a life. The saved man took him to court and won enough to start an avalanche. Then the train passengers sued. Then everybody sued. Every rescue became a liability. Every hero became a lawsuit waiting to happen. And the government's answer? The Superhero Relocation Program.
The government quietly initiated the Superhero Relocation Program.
Real thing. In the movie, supers are banned from using their powers, forced into hiding, given fake identities, told to blend in, keep their heads down, and be normal. Now hold on, play that back slowly. The world looked at its most exceptional people and outlawed them. Be average. Hide what makes you special. Your gifts are a problem. Who does that sound like? That's Syndrome's whole speech. That's the philosophy everyone quotes as pure evil, and the government enacted it 15 years before Buddy ever put on the black suit.
Neither of us exist. Please pay attention as this message is classified and will not be repeated. I represent a top-secret division of the government designing and testing experiments.
Buddy didn't invent the war on the exceptional. He was born into it. He just started out on the losing side. The kid with no powers in a world that worshipped them. Then the world flipped, and the supers learned exactly what Buddy's whole childhood felt like. Being told your gifts don't matter. Being told to shrink. Quick detail that tells you everything about this movie. The Incredibles was Pixar's first film ever rated PG. Every Pixar movie before it, G Toy Story, Nemo, Monsters Inc., all G. The one about outlawed heroes and a heartbroken kid?
Part. But I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone, especially your heroes.
That one needed a warning label, so now you've got the setup. A brilliant nobody with a grudge, a world that punishes the gifted, and somewhere in the suburbs, a retired hero who's about to prove Buddy right in ways nobody talks about. Because what was Bob doing during those 15 years? Oh man.
158183. You will be...
Got him yet? Then where is he?
Mr. Huff would like to talk to you in his office.
Quick pause. If you've noticed this channel does villains differently, one villain, one movie, every receipt, subscribe now. Because the next section is the one Incredibles fans argue with me about, and I've got the quotes to back it. 15 years later, Bob Parr, insurance desk, suburban dad. And everyone remembers him as the sad, lovable hero stuck in a cubicle. Fine. But watch what Bob actually does in this movie. At Insuricare, Bob secretly coaches customers on how to beat the system. He tells a little old lady exactly which forms to file, exactly which office to visit, exactly how to force the company to pay. Sweet, right? Sure.
And file a WS-2475 form with our legal department on the second floor. I would not expect someone to get back to you quickly to resolve the matter. I'd like to help, but there's nothing I can do.
It's also a man cheating the rules of the world he lives in, quietly, constantly, because he thinks the system is beneath him. At night, he lies to his wife and sneaks out with Frozone.
Good night, Helen. Good night, kids.
They listen to police scanners. They do illegal hero work, the exact thing the law banned. So Bob breaks the rules of the ordinary world because he believes he's above the ordinary world.
Oh, no. That ain't right. We look like bad guys. Incompetent bad guys.
Huh. Where have I heard that philosophy before? But here's the scene that buries him. The dinner table. Dash is having a graduation ceremony. 4th grade. And Bob, the hero of this movie, says this. They keep creating new ways to celebrate mediocrity.
You on tape and you still got away with it? Whoa!
The hero said that, not Syndrome, not the villain in the black suit, the guy on the poster. And it gets worse, Helen tells Dash. Everyone's special, and Dash, Bob's own son mutters back, which is another way of saying no one is. Stop. You know that line. Everyone quotes it as Syndrome's evil philosophy. When everyone's super, no one will be. The Parr family said it first, at their own dinner table, about ordinary people. Syndrome's most villainous line is just the hero's family values, said back to them by the kid they threw away. Look, Bob's not a monster. He's a good man having a midlife crisis. He loves his family. The movie earns that. But be honest about what's on screen. Bob resents ordinary life. Bob thinks celebrating ordinary kids is offensive. Bob breaks laws because rules are for regular people. The only difference between Bob's worldview and Buddy's worldview is which side of the Powers lottery they were born on. One of them got to be the hero anyway. Meanwhile, the kid from the police car grew up, got rich, and started a project with a body count. All right, this is where I stop defending him, and you need to hear why. Buddy Pine got rich. Weapons. He became an inventor and an arms dealer. The movie says it straight out.
How do you think I got rich? I invented weapons, and now I have a weapon that only I can defeat.
Selling instruments of destruction made him a fortune and a private island. And on that island, he ran a program, Operation Kronos. Here's how it worked. His assistant, Mirage, tracked down retired supers, heroes in hiding, living quiet, legal, ordinary lives, exactly like the government ordered them to. She'd offer them a job, top secret, great pay. Come fight a rogue robot.
The Omnidroid 9000 is a top-secret prototype battle robot. Its artificial intelligence enables it to solve any problem it's confronted with.
They'd come, they'd fight the Omnidroid, and most of them lost. Then Syndrome studied the fight, fixed the robot's weaknesses, built the next version, and sent the invitation to the next hero. Bob finds the records on the island computer, a database, name after name after name, supers he grew up with, friends, each file stamped with one word, terminated. That's not revenge, that's not a grudge, that's murder run like a product cycle, test, fix, repeat. Human beings as crash test dummies for a machine. So let's kill the lazy take right now. Syndrome did nothing wrong. No. Syndrome murdered his way through a generation of heroes. People who never wronged him. People hiding in the suburbs like Bob. The argument was never that he's innocent. The argument is that his question was right, and his crimes never answered it. Big difference. Hold both. But here's the part I love. The part that feels like justice, writing itself. One of his victims was a hero called Gazerbeam. Bob finds his skeleton in a cave on the island.
Gazerbeam.
And in his final moments, dying, alone, Gazerbeam carved one word into the cave wall, Kronos, the name of the operation that killed him. Bob types that word into Syndrome's computer. It's the password. The whole database opens. Every murder, every name, the entire plan, exposed. A murdered man convicted his killer from beyond the grave. With his last breath, basically. The super Syndrome fed to that machine. They're the reason his plan died. So what was it all for? Because the plan behind the murders is the part everyone misquotes. Everyone knows the line. Say it with me. When everyone's super, no one will be.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
Scariest line in the movie, right? The music goes dark. The camera pushes in. Pure villain moment. Now listen to the actual plan he's describing. Because almost nobody does. Step 1. Send the perfected Omnidroid to the city. Step 2. Secretly control it. Defeat it in public. Become the world's new hero.
Oh no, I'm a new superhero! I'm Syndrome!
Fake? Completely. A stunt. Fair. But step 3. Listen to step 3 in his own words. When he's old and he's had his fun, he sells his inventions. So everyone can be super.
And when I'm old and I've had my fun, I'll sell my inventions so that everyone can be superheroes. Everyone can be super!
Strip the murders out for 1 second. Just the plan itself. A self-made inventor mass-produces technology. So ordinary people can do what only a genetic elite could do before. You know what that is? That's glasses. Weak eyes used to mean you were done. Now it's a prescription. That's cars. Nobody's born fast anymore. Everyone drives. That's every phone in every pocket. Powers nobody was born with, sold to everybody. Buddy's endgame is the story of human technology. Level the playing field. Close the gap between the gifted and the rest of us. And the movie scores it like the end of the world. Ask yourself the question the film really doesn't want you to ask. Why is "everyone can be super" the most terrifying sentence in this movie? Who exactly loses in that world? Not the ordinary people. They're getting flight and strength for Christmas. The only people who lose are the ones whose specialness depended on everyone else staying ordinary. People like Bob. People who sneer at 4th grade graduations.
Go to your own son's graduation.
It's not a graduation. He is moving from the 4th grade to the 5th grade.
Now, the honest counterweight, because we do receipts here. Buddy's version of equality came wrapped in fraud and built on bodies. He didn't want to lift everyone up. He wanted to drag the supers down. His last line proves it. When everyone's super, no one will be. That's not generosity. That's spite with good branding. But the question underneath it, is inborn superiority fair? And is closing the gap really villainy? The movie never answers that. Not once. Not in 2 hours. Oh, and his island's called No Manison. Say it fast. No Man is an Island, the loneliest character in Pixar history, headquartered inside a joke about isolation. And I'm not the only one who noticed the movie dodges its own question. Actual film critics went to war over this, and the director had to answer for it. For years. So here's where this stops being a fan theory, because the fight I'm describing actually happened. In print. For years. After the movie dropped in 2004, critics started writing something wild. More than one of them called The Incredibles Ayn Randian propaganda. Ayn Rand, the philosopher of radical individualism, the "some people are just born better" writer. Critics looked at a Pixar family film and saw her fingerprints all over it. The gifted, forced to hide by a mediocre society. A hero who calls ordinary achievement celebrating mediocrity. A villain whose great crime is giving power to regular people. One critic later went as far as this, quote, "Brad Bird doesn't care about you, unless you're part of the 0.01% of us who are truly special." That's a real published sentence. About the Incredibles guy. And Brad Bird, the writer and director, had to answer for it for over a decade. Here's his actual response, on record, word for word. "Me being the Ayn Rand guy is a lazy piece of criticism." He called the elitist reading, quote, "a misread of the movie." He pointed out he'd been accused of both extremes, too left-wing for the Iron Giant, too right-wing for The Incredibles. He found the whole thing tedious. Fair enough, he made the movie, he gets a say. But notice what even Bird never claims. He never says the movie answers syndrome, because it doesn't. It raises the question, is inborn superiority fair? And then it kills the guy asking. That's not an answer. That's a mic drop with a body. And now the production fact that breaks my brain. Syndrome wasn't supposed to exist. Bird said it himself. The movie started with a completely different main villain. Bird wrote an alternate opening with a throwaway character, meant to appear once and get killed off. Everyone liked the throwaway better, so they scrapped the real villain, kept the accident, and built Buddy's backstory afterward. The most philosophically debated villain in Pixar history was an accident. One more. Jason Lee voiced him, but the role was offered to Jack Black first. Black asked for rewrites and lost it. 20 years later, he said publicly, "Why was I being so difficult?" Even the guy who rejected Syndrome regrets rejecting Syndrome. Okay, endgame. And I need you to remember what I told you to remember. The cape. Syndrome's plan falls apart fast. The robot's too smart. It figures out its own controller is a threat and blasts the remote right off his wrist. The Pars and Frozone finish it off. The fake hero stunt dies on live TV. And then Buddy does the one thing with no defense. None. He breaks into the Pars' home and takes the baby. Jack. His new plan.
Shh. The baby's sleeping.
Raise Bob's son as his own sidekick. Steal the family he never got to join. Whatever sympathy you've been carrying for 20 minutes, this is where it gets tested. There's no philosophy here, no fair question. Just a broken man stealing a child to wound his childhood hero. Even Syndrome's best argument can't survive Syndrome. Mid-air, Jack's powers explode for the first time.
What's happening?
Syndrome drops him, Helen catches her son. And Bob, out of options, rips his own car off the street and hurls it at Syndrome's jet. Syndrome stumbles back on the wing, and his cape catches the turbine. The cape. I told you twice. Here's why. Rewind to the beginning. The night Buddy's life broke. What did Bomb Voyage clip the bomb to? His cape. The cape nearly killed him as a kid. On the worst night of his life. 20 years later, the cape finishes the job. And in between, Edna Mode's whole comedy routine. No capes.
Dyna guy. Oh, he had a great look. Oh, the cape and the boots.
No capes.
Hero after hero, killed by their own costume.
Meta Man, Express Elevator. Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
The audience howling. The movie told you exactly how Syndrome dies, an hour early, and disguised it as the funniest scene in the film. But go one layer deeper, because this is the whole story in one piece of fabric. The cape is the superhero's signature, the costume of the club that rejected him. Buddy wore one as Incrediboy and got sent home in a police car. He wore one as Syndrome, and it dragged him into an engine. He died because he never took it off. The kid who built Flight with his bare hands couldn't let go of the one thing he was never given, permission to belong. So, the verdict. And you know I keep it honest. The world outlawed its heroes, and Buddy noticed. The hero mocked ordinary people at his own dinner table, and Buddy heard it. And the movie never answered his question. It just dropped him into an engine. He was right about the world. He was wrong in every way a man can be wrong about what to do with it. At the start, I said you'd owe Syndrome an apology. So, do you? Or did he burn it the moment he touched that baby? Comments. I read everyone. And if broken villains are your thing, watch Lord Shen's parents loved him. And that's exactly what destroyed him.
My parents, they loved you. They loved you so much that having to send you away killed them.
Same channel, a villain whose parents' love destroyed him. It'll wreck you.